All right. Hey. How y'all doing, Christian friends? It has been a while. Today is another day that I am doing what it is that I normally would try to do. I haven't been consistent with it, but this is still what I try to do. I usually try to come on, I pop up and pop on to give a word or just share in my journey to if I have a word that's been on my spirit or something that I want to talk about, something that I want to share that could be encouraging or uplifting. I just try to come on and give a word. I don't really never have no set time of when I do this. I just want to pop up and pop on and just have like a Bible study and just sharing the word with you all. And, today is that day. I've been actually sitting on this particular word here for a minute. I've been thinking about what I'm going to talk about today. I've been thinking about this for a while, just going over, because like I've said before, I'm still in this journey, doing what I can to draw near to God, being intentional about my walk and my journey by taking the time to just sit and have that intimate time with God by just trying to continue to study the word, to learn and draw near to God so I can hear from God, so I can hear a word from God. I know a lot of times we may wonder, like, when is God going to answer this? Or you're praying and praying and praying, and you're feeling like sometimes your prayers aren't being answered, or you're feeling like God is not there, and it's like, what is going on? Sometimes the answers are right there in the word, and if we just take time to understand that Bible is our source, and that Bible is there to educate us and inspire us, and that Bible is there to equip us to do every good work, then we'll know, like, there are times where the answers are right there in the word. God is speaking to us right there from the Bible. So I encourage that at all times. Like, hey, take that time to delve into the word. And sometimes it's a slow start. I get it, because when I first was just on this journey of being determined and trying to be devoted to turning and drawing back to God and returning and gaining that understanding. And I was just eager and zealous to learn that word. At first, it was a slow start for me. It was hard to like read those tons of words in that Bible, those small words, trying to read it and trying to understand certain versions of the Bible, and just still trying to gain an understanding, because it's a lot to take in. But I took my time with it. I wasn't so hard on myself, but I started in ways that helped me to become more eager and zealous to learn and open up the actual Bible. So at first, like, I was doing where I would just listen to a lot of videos. I would listen to a lot of sermons and motivational speakings and teachings from videos, because I knew it was easy for me to do that. I would literally watch it so much over and over and over until I would literally intentionally fall asleep listening to the word, because I knew I needed to filter. I needed to get out some of those things from my past, just trying to filter out the things that contaminated my body and my spirit. I had to have a way to get it out and filter in the goodness and the truth of God. So that was my way of how I started off. And then from there, I got a Bible app that really helped. So, because when it was times again when I just wasn't so eager to want to just read the word and open up the Bible, I was like, okay, let me get a Bible app. So I was still just listening to the word. So I started out like that. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. And then from there, I grew to be zealous to continue to draw near to God. And I was eager to learn more and understand that word and be fed and take in that word so they can digest in my spirit, and so that word can develop me and so that I can grow from it. And at least now, that is what my prayer is. My prayer is that, God, may your word be my guiding light. May your word continue to develop me, and that I will grow from your word, that your Bible will teach me and grow me and elevate me in ways that I just would never imagine. But I wouldn't know where it could take me if I didn't give it that chance. And I'm just glad that I did. So I encourage you all to do the same thing. But anyway, so today's pop-up, y'all, like I said, I wanted to come on today. What compelled me to definitely get on here today was that today was just one of those days I started feeling uneasy. A few things was happening externally, as far as, just my car. I think some things is going on with my vehicle and a few other things. And sometimes it don't take even much for you to have an uneasy day. You could start off feeling good, feeling encouraged, and then just anything can happen. And that's called spiritual warfare too. At times where just your spirit is just being attacked. Your mind is being attacked. So you could start off having a good day, and then next thing you know, things can just happen externally and internally that can just make you feel uneasy, bring you back to these certain thoughts, make you remember in your past, and making you cause you to doubt, cause you to start just getting this spiral of negative thoughts, ruminating thoughts that you don't want. We don't ask for these things. We want to try to have good days, right? But then, you know, sometimes we just can't help where our emotions may take us. So I just said today, when I just started feeling uneasy about some things, I was like, you know what, rather than let those emotions have me and it caused me to have some spiral of negative thoughts and thinking the worst, I said, you know, before I start speaking some things out of my mouth, because I used to be good for that, just speaking so negatively and not knowing at that time, because I didn't know any better, that, hey, the power of life and death does lie in the tongue. And I used to speak so negatively over my own life, not because I wanted to, but that's just where I was at in my life. I wasn't drawing near to God. I wasn't drawing in the word. I wasn't ready for what that spiritual warfare was doing to me, because I didn't understand it, because I didn't take the time to draw near to God to get that understanding of what was happening. So now when these things happen, like today, for instance, I feel like I can do a little better with how to fight back, so that you don't allow yourself to fall into that precipice, fall off the precipice of what you might be feeling for today. Yeah, your emotions and stuff and your feelings are valid. If for whatever reason things can happen to bring on negative feelings and emotions, but rather than take that and become a victim of it and say, well, ain't gonna never happen, or this always happens, or why this, and and start questioning God, or start to just have that spiral of just negativity that can lead to anger and do all of these other things. Rather than doing that, I said, you know what, unlike before, I'm going to take today to practice patiently enduring testing and temptation. And that's one of the things I want to encourage, that, we're going to have these tests and these trials. We're going to have these moments where we're going to feel some dis-ease and or feel uncomfortable, or just go through some stuff in life, in those seasons in life where, we're going through a lot, the sufferings, the calamities, the hardships, whatever it is. And even from day to day, you going through stuff that you don't expect, that you might not be looking for or expecting. Like I said, just early today, I was, feeling pretty good. Day started off good because I know I got things I'm planning and that I'm, striving for. And then just before my day of work could even end, I just started to have a moment of dis-ease that can just easily happen to anybody. So I encourage you to take these times when those things like that happen, like the word said in the book of James, take that time to patiently endure the testing and temptation. When those trials and those things come that's testing your faith, you got to let that impatience, you got to let that endurance work. You got to work that endurance. And when that endurance has a chance to grow, then you will be complete, lacking nothing. Well, I ain't there yet, y'all. I ain't perfect in that at all. But I just want to share my journey with you all. And I don't mind being transparent to let you know that sometimes you're going to still feel defeated. So anyway, but I just said today, rather than start speaking negatively out my mouth and speaking death over myself by just saying all kind of negative stuff, let me take today to practice patiently enduring testing and temptation by saying, you know what, God, I still thank you anyway. God, I praise you. So I publicly wanted to come on today. So that's one of the reasons why I intentionally wanted to hop on today, because today I was feeling a bit uneasy for just small reasons, and sometimes no reason at all. You just go from feeling up and down. I want to practice saying, God, I thank you. God, I thank you anyway. I thank you for blessing me, keeping me, and saving me. I thank you for those days when I'm having good days, because some days you're going to then have bad days, but you still give God the glory in it all. So God, I glorify you. God, I thank you. God, I praise you. And that's what I want to encourage you all to do. Just take those moments when you're not feeling your best or going through something. Take that moment to intentionally fight the devil back by giving God praise and giving God the glory, and or studying that word, listening to a sermon, like intentionally turn on a video that's something that can help you to filter out those moments and what you're going through. It doesn't mean that, again, it may take away the sufferings, the calamities, and the hardships, but it's a way that you're now fighting with your spirit. when you go through those things, so that the devil doesn't have that control, or that flesh doesn't have control of you. You're allowing your spirit to have that authority to fight those moments. You're fighting now in the spirit. So that's what I just wanted to encourage. But anyway, I just wanted to come on today though for my pop-up Bible study. It's been a while, and I said, you know what? Let me come on and do what it is I've been intending to do, is to come and share a word. So today I wanted to talk about two topics, and I'm gonna try not to be long. But today I wanted to encourage you all and just give a few tips on a few things that you can pray about that would probably be helpful in your journey. And then I also wanted to talk about faith, just that your faith walk, and what is faith to you, what is faith to me. And just I wanted to be transparent about that, because again, I'm still learning. I don't claim to know it all. I know that I'm learning, and I'm eager to learn, but I don't have it all together. So but I still don't mind sharing and being transparent in my journey, to share my journey with my family believers out there, because somebody out there might be in that same walk and just need some clarity, or need to hear it from somebody else that with the same things that they may be going through. And just to hear somebody else talk about a few certain things, it could help you in your journey. So I just wanted to come on and just give this word today, y'all. So to start, I wanted to first talk about just a few things, tips that I could give you all about prayer. So I know, right, when we pray, because my prayer life is on a whole nother level now, and I'm just thankful for that. When I do pray, I say, God, I thank you for what prayer is and what it does, because prayer has changed my life. Prayer does work. Prayer still works. And prayer has gotten me out of my deepest, darkest pits years ago, when I was going through a lot with anxiety and depression, and my back was against the wall, and all I could think about was death and death and death. And I was just going through a lot. And at one point, I couldn't think of nothing else. Life, I was basically a walking zombie. But prayer got me through that. And at that moment, when I had realized that I had gotten even just a slight bit of ease after praying, when I was going through what I was going through, at that moment, I had never stopped praying. So prayer works, and I encourage you to do that. But today, like I said, I wanted to talk about and share a few tips of how I pray, and some things that I specifically pray about that may help somebody out there. So like I said, I know many of you, again, if you're like me, you know, I pray all the time. I'm praying at all times and in the spirit. And I mean, that's just something that is my breath now. Like I raise up, as soon as I raise up in the morning, and I have realized I'm up for that day. I might not even literally get up out the bed yet. But when I know I'm up mentally, I'm conscious, the first thing I remember to do is think of God first. And I go ahead and begin to just start praying in my spirit and in my mind, to just let God know, like, God, I'm starting my day with acknowledging you, and that so you can know that you are on my mind. And I do that throughout the day, but I try to raise up, and that's the first thing that I try to do when I'm conscious in the morning. But anyway, so when I do pray, I know, like for instance, I know a lot of times when we all pray, we definitely try to pray and say, God, protect us from hurt, harm, or danger. God, protect us from danger seen and unseen, Father. Protect us from evil spirits in the heavenly places and in our atmosphere. So that's one thing I want to encourage you when you're praying. If you ain't saying that already in your prayer, you like, hey, God, look, protect me from hurt, harm, or danger, Father. Shield me from those things. Father, may your grace and mercies cover over us, Father God. Surely your goodness and mercies will follow me all the days of my life. But today, Father God, I pray that you will protect me from hurt, harm, and danger, God. Protect me from the danger seen and unseen, and from evil spirits, right? And so we ask for protection from, what's happening externally in our environment, and from what's happening out in the world. Then we also try to we pray for what's happening inside, because, right, the spiritual warfare is what's going on inside us. So we got to pray for the spirit, for what is happening in our spirit, that attack that we have every day. We're battling within our own self every day with our flesh and our spirit. So we not only pray for the protection of what's happening out there, when we ask God for that hedge of protection, right, over ourselves, over our family, our kids, our finances, our job, our career, whatever it is we're doing, we should be, as children of God, constantly asking God to protect us, Father, protect us from hurt, harm, or danger, right? So one thing I started learning to pray about also recently, but it's one of those serious things that again, this is what I truly, truly pray every time. When not only do I say, God, protect me from hurt, harm, or danger, protect me from the danger seen and unseen, and from evil spirits in the heavenly places and in my atmosphere, God, I'm also like, God, protect me even from myself. So that's what I wanted to really close in on today, that sometimes, yes, we definitely got to pray about what's happening in our environment. We pray about what's happening in our own spirit and in our own minds, because we battling within ourselves. Mental, physical things we're going through within. Ain't even got nothing to do, it may not have nothing to do with what's happening outside. So we got plenty of things to be praying for. But now that perspective and that eye that I've come to understand in this mature walk, because I've been through a lot, I've made many mistakes, right? And so then now that in my new self now, I get it, I understand, and I can think back to the way I once was. And thinking back from the way that I once was, I was making decisions in my life that I didn't know that it was going to lead me to those pitfalls and things that I'm dealing with now, years later. Years ago, when I was my old self and I was living to please the world, living to please myself, and I wasn't praying every day, I wasn't even giving God the glory nor giving him thanks. I pretty much abandoned God for the world, trying to be friends with the world and gaining approval from the world. So that made me an enemy of God, but I didn't know any better, right? I was dead to my sins. I was dead because of my disobedience and my many sins. So I abandoned God. But at that time, when I was going through all of those things, I didn't really understand what I was going through. So when I got hit really hard with those trials and got hit with that crisis in my life, I fell really hard because I wasn't ready for that warfare. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't braced because I wasn't in the word. I wasn't in my word. I wasn't drawing near to God. I wasn't devoted to living a life that pleases God. I wasn't devoted to carefully determining what pleases God. I was living for myself. But just thinking back on all of those things, even just the smallest decisions that you would make from day to day, and it can be just a regular routine decision. You get up every day, you get up, what you do, you go to work, go to school, go to do whatever you got to do for that day, whatever's on your to-do list. You're in your routine, right? But you don't know what decision you might make in that day is going to lead you to something that you just was not ready for or won't be ready for, right? And it's just simple decisions that you choose to make. Some decisions you make, you don't know what it's going to lead to. Some decisions are not good decisions and you still do it anyway. So I wanted to share that word about where I said, now when I pray about, Lord, protect me from danger seen and unseen and from evil spirits and protect me from hurt, harm, or danger. I also say, God, protect me from myself. Because I learn and I know and I understand now in this mature walk, sometimes we could just be making our own simple decisions, or we might wake up today, had our plans for today, and you don't know what is going to happen today because you are not in control of the outcomes. So we got to yield to God, submit to his sovereignty, and understanding that God is in control of the outcomes. But yes, ask God to protect you even from yourself, because you don't know what decisions that you will make today that can lead to whatever. And it could just be a decision that you just thought was nothing wrong with what you did. I've had plenty of choices that I made, or decisions that I made in my past, again, that I'm paying for even now, years later, because I just neglected to understand that God is sovereign. And not saying that it still won't stop things from happening, because again, you don't have control over things. God is in control of the outcomes. But when you do that, you then let God know, like, God, I know you are sovereign, but God, I am asking you to help me even from myself, even from my own decisions. Some decisions that are vain decisions, some decisions that you make intentionally and you might know they're wrong. And then decisions that you make that you don't feel you did anything wrong. Like the example that I want to use, and I want to send my condolences and rest in peace to the young lady that ended up dying. I think this was a few weeks ago, right? From they were saying it was because she had a cosmetic surgery. And just think, she went to get that cosmetic surgery, not thinking nothing, her decision, nothing was wrong. She obviously had cosmetic surgeries before in the past. So here she is just making another routine decision that, hey, I want to go get a cosmetic surgery. And unfortunately, at least that's what media is saying, that's having that surgery is what led to her passing. But we don't really know what could have actually happened. Nobody was there but her and whoever else was there. But from the media, just saying that again, it's a scare. It was a scare. It's like, wow, it just lets you know that, even with you just making just a routine decision in your day that you don't think you're doing nothing wrong, you don't know what outcome is going to lead from those decisions. And here this lady, young woman, still young, 32 years old, I think, just making a routine decision to go and get cosmetic surgery, which, people gonna have their own judgment about saying, cosmetic surgery, you shouldn't be doing this. And some people, like me, I'm not gonna place no judgment on that. If that's what she felt she wanted to do. Again, she wasn't harming nobody else, or doing anything as far as it being a sin or anything like that. But she just decided to make a routine decision, and she didn't. Now look, I'm sure she just would have never imagined that, because if she would have known that, she would have never made that decision to do that. But I'm saying all of that to say that look at how we just in our everyday decisions, not expecting what the outcomes could be with even just simple routine decisions. So now it should allow us to have that perspective of just carefully determining what pleases God. I mean, it still doesn't mean that you're going to perfectly make every right decision, because we're going to still indeed make many mistakes, and we're not perfect. But it should now just make you even more say every decision, every even now, like I said, down to the smallest decision of, where you got to go at today. If you had something on your to-do list, think about that to-do list now. What is it that you're taking care of? And again, just doing stuff that that if it's not, I'm sorry, y'all, this fly keep coming in and out. But anyway, just carefully determine what pleases God in all of the decisions that you're making. But I said all of that to say, like, look, now it's like, you got to ask God to even just protect you from yourself, from your own decisions, because you don't know what the decisions that you're going to make. You don't know what it's going to lead to. Here you are, just got up today thinking, okay, today I got this plan. I'm about to go and, go do this and do that. I want to go get my nails done. I want to go get my hair done. I got to go to work today. I got to go pick up my kids. I got to do this and do that. Here you are, just joyful and jipper about your day and the decisions that you think you're going to make, and you don't know what it's going to lead to. So when you do pray, now you make sure you say, God, protect me even from myself. And so I just wanted to encourage that, because again, I just learned just in this journey, learning from even my own self, the past decisions that I've made, that sometimes I look back and I have to shed tears for the way that I once was and the things that I've done. And to say that, look at God's grace and mercy, though. God blessed me, kept me, and saved me when I didn't deserve it. When I was making all of those decisions years ago, when I was living to please myself and I abandoned God, and I was making decisions off of my own human effort and doing things because I wanted to please my flesh, that I look back and I'm like, man, I'm just to see that I'm still alive today, to share the testimony of saying that even once before I didn't include God in nothing that I was doing. But God still blessed me, kept me, and saved me by his grace and mercies in times where I didn't deserve to be saved from some things, from some vain decisions that I made that I knew I wasn't even doing right, and still made those decisions. Some decisions that I made that I thought I was doing okay, and they still weren't the best decisions. But I am still here today, that God has given me another chance. God has been patient with me all those years of my being ignorant, of my being dead dead because of my disobedience and my many sins, and for abandoning God. God still blessed me and had a hedge of protection over me, because I'm still here today. Sometimes I'm like, I don't look like what I've been through, bottom line. But I just wanted to share that with y'all, that, hey, you know what? When you praying, hey, God, protect me even from myself. So, that's one thing I wanted to share. And then I also wanted to talk about faith, and talk about your walk with faith, and what faith is, or what it looks like to you. And then I'll share even just a few examples about me, because I know that right now in this season of my life, this new me, right? I'm my new self now. And in this season of my life, this season, I call it my planting season. I'm still trying to plant good seeds. I'm still in my season of growing and being developed and being prepared. So I'm intentionally in this season just trying to learn and draw near and learn that word, studying that word, so that I can show myself approved. And this is that season where I'm just stepping out in faith more. Well, again, at one point in time, I really didn't understand that faith walk and what it meant in just having faith. and showing that faith that makes your, showing the actions that make your faith complete. So I wanted to kind of share that idea with you all about faith and, what I understand what faith is. Again, faith, like as the Bible say, faith without work is dead. So a lot of people, like even in the word says, you got people out there that say, I can show you my faith just by saying that I have it because I believe in God. So that means I have faith. Well, like Paul said, well, yeah, you can show your faith by saying you believe in God, but I'm going to show you my faith by my good deeds, right? And I will show you that, yeah, you may say you have the faith, but if you don't have a corresponding action that shows you have faith, then it's useless. Right. So, for those that still may not completely understand it, because again, I still try to study to get that clear understanding of it. But as I continue to walk, like even right now, what I have going on, and I'll share my example in a moment. But as I continue to walk this thing out, I'm understanding more and more, about faith and how it works and what you need to do. And but the Bible also says that Jesus is the perfecter. He's the initiator and perfecter of your faith. So it's okay to pray about that as well too. I'm always praying like, God, help my faith walk, Father, that I will continue in this journey to trust in you with all my heart and lean not on my own understanding, to continue to exercise my faith that shows evidence that my faith is in you, God. So I have to ask God for help with that because I still don't have it all together. I'm still learning, but again, I just don't mind sharing my journey. But again, yes, well, just from what I understand, faith takes a corresponding action that makes your having faith complete. So you can sit here and just say you have the faith, but if nobody don't see no actions behind it, I mean, that ain't no different than if you telling somebody, if you in your mind, you love somebody, but you never tell them and you're not showing it in certain ways, then they're not, somebody might be like, I can't tell you love me. Or you might get into it and they say, well, I didn't know you even love me like that because you never showed it. You never told me. And if you did, I couldn't tell because you didn't show it in a way. But in your mind, you like, but yes, I did love you. I truly and deeply love you. But then that person ain't really believing it because you didn't show them in that type of way. So I guess it would be the same thing with this faith walk. You could sit here and say you have faith just because you believe in God, but that's not enough. You got to show it in ways. So I wanted to use this example, like, I've been talking about, I'm excited to announce, upcoming in July the 30th, Lord willing, I have my second fashion show, the Runway Ministry and Fellowship Experience. Lord willing, it will go down regardless of the turnout or the outcome, but I'm doing it because I'm excited to share in this journey or in this event to continue to give God the glory in everything that I'm doing. But yes, my event that's coming up, right? This is a prime example of me just stepping out in faith because, I don't have all the resources, right? I don't have it all together, but because I know that God has prompted in my spirit about what it is that I'm doing, because I am dedicating what it is that I'm doing to God, striving to live a life worthy of my calling, right? And again, carefully determining what pleases God in everything that I'm doing. So everything that I got going on, I am intentional with making sure that I'm including God in everything that I'm doing this time, because I didn't do it before. In my former self, everything I was trying to do, everything I was striving for, all of the ventures and things like that I had in mind that I was planning, right, which many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. But none of those things were successful or didn't work out for me because, for one, I wasn't including God. I wasn't committed to God, and I didn't have that connection. I was disconnected from God. But now I feel in this season now and in this journey in what I'm doing, I have more joy about it, even though things, it's still clear for me. I don't even know how I'm gonna get to those outcomes of those visions that I'm seeing that God has prompted me with, those provision that God has prompted me with that are bigger than myself, that are bigger than my circumstances right now. Huge visions that I'm seeing for what I should be doing, that I don't know how I'm gonna get there. But this is that time that I have to show and practice that faith and study to show myself approved and throw myself into those tasks. And showing that faith by showing the action. So again, as an example, I'm just out here trying to do all that I can by my own human effort, but I still have to allow God to be God in what I'm doing because God is sovereign, right? He is in control of the outcomes. So even though I'm sitting here planning certain things for this event, and yes, it's definitely okay to plan, but communicate with God submit to God in everything that you're doing. Commit to God with whatever you're doing. So acknowledge him, communicate to God. And that's just what I'm doing. So that's my way of just showing God that I'm believing in him. So I'm not just planning all of these things and just having that, how you said, that arrogant confidence in myself, like I can just get this done. No, it's all God. I need God's help. I don't want to do this without God, and I'm not trying to get ahead of God because I've done it before. So now I'm just telling y'all because I've been there. I've lived that life of living for myself and thinking I had all the control and thinking that the outcomes was going to go how I wanted it to go, and nothing worked out the way that I wanted. But now in this season in my life, I'm yielding everything to God. I'm communicating to God with everything that I'm doing. So as God gives me the provision, right, for what it is that's ahead, I'm not there yet, but as God gives me the provision for my life and for me to carry out his ministry to as ministers of his new covenant, to get out there and deploy my gifts into the land and work in my gifts and work in my ministry in a way that pleases God, I'm just committing to continuing to communicate with God with everything. In the way that I'm showing my faith is I'm stepping out, taking those actions. And even though, like I said, I don't have all of the resources that I may need to take care of certain things, but as I have faith in God and waiting on God to bring the right people in my life and direct me and guide my steps and direct my steps and my paths in doing what I'm doing, I'm still taking the actions of doing what needs to be done, lining stuff up, just getting the outline, putting it together, but at the same time still communicating with God to give me that strategy, give me that counsel, give me that advice on what needs to be done. And so, like, for instance, I had to, in order for this event to take place, I had to pay the down payment for the venue, which was, my bank account does not reflect the type of money to be paying that type of money for a venue, that for an event that I don't know how it's going to turn out, right? So I'm just being transparent now and just showing you what faith looks like and in your actions that make your faith complete, right? So I just want to share this with you. And so I don't know what the outcome is going to be like. My bank account doesn't reflect all kinds of money where I can just be doing things like this. But if I have a prompting from God, and then I'm showing God that I am steady and moving forward in what it is that I feel you have prompted me to do, doing all the good things my faith has prompted me to do, now I have to put that faith to work. I have to believe in God that he's going to make it all come together for the good of those who love him. So yes, my first step out with this event, is, hey, putting down the deposit that holds the venue to show God, like, I'm serious about the provisions that you've given me. I ain't playing no games, God. I played too many games before, and I don't know how much time I got left on this earth, so I ain't got time to be playing no games. So God, what you've prompted me in my spirit to do, if you give me the health and the strength, Lord, because it all comes from you. So when you give me that health and strength, God, to make these certain decisions and certain things, may you continue to guide my steps. But I ain't trying to play. Your name is attached to it. I am dedicated and devoted to making sure I glorify you, acknowledge you, commit to you, whatever I'm doing. And I'm serious about that. So because I have that vision that God has given me and doing all the things that my faith prompts me to do, I got to just continue to make those steps of putting in the action that makes my faith complete, to show God, like, okay, God, I don't really have all the money that it's going to take to pull off this event. But God, that's what, God, I need you. God, I need you to be God. And I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And even in that, I'm still like, God, help me in doing all the things that I am supposed to do with my own human effort. So I still need your help to do my part. So God, I need you to do your part, but I need your help to help me to do my part. Because I don't want to mess up, or I don't have no more time to be making no more crazy decisions like how I used to in the past, that led me down that rabbit hole of why I'm struggling, trying to dig up from the pit now, from decisions I made in my past, thinking I had all the control, being so hasty, doing things without God. So now I'm still trying to grow from that, or trying to get above ground from those decisions I made before. So it's like, now I ain't got no more time, God. I ain't got no more time to be making no more decisions, bad decisions. I need to make all strategic, careful, good decisions, God, that's going to lead to success and prosperity, Father. Because yes, I do want prosperity and success from God. And so because of that, which I do want to share again, which is in the word where, in the book of Joshua, where it says, God gives us instructions on how to prosper and succeed. So if you follow those instructions, which says you meditate on the word day and night, not deviating, looking to the right or to the left, and then will you succeed and prosper. And yes, many people can succeed and prosper, but is it the success and prosperity from God? That you don't have to feel guilty about none of this success that you have, because it came from God. You went through some things before. You went through some struggles, some hardships, some sufferings. You had to be disciplined from how you was before. So that what you're going through is a gift from God. God has given you another chance. So yeah, sure. A lot of people are successful, look prosperous. Yes, that's very true. You can be prosperous and successful, but is it the success of God and the prosperity from God? Because that's what I pray for. God, I do want to prosper and succeed. I choose life and I choose blessings from you, God. But yeah, so God gives us those instructions on prospering and being successful. And I absolutely want that. I absolutely want to prosper and succeed. So yes, in this season in my life where I'm stepping out in faith more, so I'm still praying to God to help me with that. Because also the word says that, all it takes is faith the size of a mustard seed. But I pray to God for that. Help my faith, God, that I remain loyal to you, Father, that my loyalty would not be divided. So instead of me putting my hope and my trust in man and in the world to get these things done and carrying out my ministry and striving to live a life worthy of my calling and doing all the things my faith has prompted me to do, if I'm putting my trust back in man again, which that's what I did before when I was living to please the world, because I was trying to gain approval and confirmations from the world, and it slapped me right in my face and I was shut down and I went through a lot. I was heartbroken. I went through a lot of defeat. I became bitter. I became just angry and resentful. So I know what that road led me down when I was, trying to gain that approval and trying to get the approval and the attention of the world, versus trying to commit to God and submit to God and seeking first the kingdom of God. So I know the difference. So I know now I am conscious about my journey now. So therefore, even when I step out and doing these certain things, like for my event, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't have all the resources to get it done, but I would prefer to seek God with everything that I'm doing. Commit to God, communicate with God. All right, God, this is my idea. I got to have this many people. I need this many vendors. I do need this venue. I need to have such and such. Literally, this is how I'm communicating with God. But then I go ahead and step out with actions that needs to be taken care of on my part, for my human effort part that needs to happen so that God can work in me. So I'm just showing you some examples of how faith is supposed to work through what I got going on. So yeah, so I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't have all of the resources. I don't really know a lot of people here, but it is all, I can already see that it's coming together. And even in that, even if the outcomes still don't look like what I'm already envisioning and imagining, because I'm already just imagining that I'm going to be impacting millions, thousands of people, traveling city to city and state to state. That's where I'm already at with my visions, right? But right now, this is where I'm at in my 1-bedroom apartment with my girls. So, but in order to get to that destination, I have to lean into God, submit to God, and have it and keep on seeking first God's kingdom so that He will guide and order my steps. Submitting to God, resisting the devil. But yes, you got to put in the actions that make your faith complete. So I put down my deposit for the venue. Don't know how, hoping in God that everything is going to still work through, so that, because I still have to pay the remaining balance on the venue. Remaining balance for the venue I'm waiting. I got other things still got to come through and come together. So what I'm doing, God, this is what I need. God, I need this done. Okay, today, God, I need to reach out to some people. So God, I pray that you will compel the right people to respond. And so even in this journey, and this one, I encourage you as well, family believers, whatever it is that you're doing out there, don't force nothing. When you do your part, your initial part of maybe reaching out to people, or you're looking for those divine connections, right? God going to send you the right people in your life. He's going to send you those key people that matter. So you don't have to impose on people. And that's what I'm doing. You know, yes, I could impose by just constantly beating down people's emails and phone calls and all this and doing that. No, I'm not doing all of that because my faith isn't and my hope is in God. So God is going to make the right people respond. And again, the outcome is going to happen just as God intended for the outcome to happen, because God knew what my faith was prompting me to do. And I've included God in everything that I'm doing. So the outcome is going to happen how God intends. Now, yes, from day to day, do I still have emotional roller coasters of doubts and all of that? Sure, I do, because I'm human. But at the end of the day, I have to evaluate and examine that to where I still yield to God's timing, yield to his design, and knowing that God, you're sovereign. The outcome is going to happen exactly how you intend. So Father, help me to continue to do these things with dignity and integrity and continue to serve you no matter what, even if the outcome doesn't turn out the way I'm thinking in my mind. For July the 30th, Lord willing, for the Runway Ministry and Fellowship Experience, even if it does not, the outcome does not go how I'm already envisioning it, I still have to continue to be faithful to God and serve God no matter what, even if. And knowing that God is going to still make my path straight and he's going to work things out. All things will come together for the good of those who love him. So yeah, so even with that, just continuing to communicate with God. And at the end of the day, even though I might not have, my bank account may not reflect the type of money that for what this event needs to be funded for, I will continue to dive into doing things that I know because it's serving the purposes of God. Because just like, and I'll say this again, I've said this several times, in my former self, when I was living to please the world, trying to gain approval from the world, or I was spending all kind of money left and right to chase my dreams and to, you know, which it wasn't like I was doing anything evil. I wasn't out there with evil passions or things like that. I just had passions like anybody else to pursue my purpose and pursue my dreams. But when I wasn't including God, I didn't give God thanks. I didn't glorify God. I didn't acknowledge God. I abandoned God. But yet I was still out there trying this and trying that. That same world, they rejected me. I was disappointed, got rejected, been told no. But yet I still kept on going. I mean, I was on goal. When I tell you a go-getter, driven and ambitious and determined to get what it is to get what I wanted. Oh, you couldn't stop me from nothing. I was a real life bulldozer. And I was going for it, spending all kind of money left and right to just get what I wanted. Whatever it was that I felt that needed to be done, I was willing to bear it all. But thankfully, of course, I didn't lose my soul. But I had moments in my life where basically, yes, I conformed to the world because I was trying to gain approval from the world, because I was trying to chase after the success of the world. So I lost myself for a while. But I know whose I am now, and I'm thankful to God for that. I'm just thankful that God was patient with me in those times when I was lost to the world. But yeah, so even like I said, with now, like, hey, if paying that money down payment for that venue to have this event, because this is a prompting that the Lord has given me in carrying out my ministry and doing what my faith is prompting me to do, because God blessed and gifted me to do these things, and I want to share my gifts with the world, but this time in the right way, because I'm glorifying God and serving and using my gifts, my talents to serve others for God's glory. So if that means me, you know, spending more money to invest into my mission and invest in my purpose, then I got to continue to have faith in God. But those are the actions that it takes. So things got to be taken care of. I got to pay money for this and pay money for that, which, like I said, my bank account surely does not reflect that I even have the finances to be doing these things. But by God's glory, and if God has already approved of me to do this, if God is pleased with what I'm doing, and that's another thing that I pray and that I encourage you to pray. If God has approved and God is encouraging you and God has given you the confirmation to do these things, then you keep on going, keep on keeping on and stepping out. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining. I'm almost wrapping up, but hopefully you'll catch the replay. But yes, like, you got to just still keep on going regardless, because you know you're doing it for a purpose. You're doing it for God's glory. You're doing it because you're on a mission. You're on assignment. So when you are on assignment, You got to be on go for God. That means if you ain't got resources, you go to the source for those resources. All right, God, this is what I need. I need to have this done, God. My event is coming up. I need to have this. I need models, God. And this is literally my conversation with God, because this is me. I'm doing all the things my faith is prompting me to do. But I still know physically here on earth, certain things, I need to have certain things. And if I don't have it, now who do I have to look to? I look to God now. In my former self, I was looking to the world, and that's how I got shut down. That's how I got rejected. That's how I got disappointed. That's how I ended up abandoning God and becoming an enemy of God, because I was trying to be friends with the world. So I know now. I know better now. Before I didn't know any better, but I get it now. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it. I still make my mistakes. And so, like I said, I don't mind being transparent and sharing my journey. But yeah, that's just my part of my faith walk. Communicating with God with everything that I'm doing. Looking to God, the source, for the resources that I need to handle and take care of this event that's coming up, that my faith prompted me to do. That I say, God, if you approve of what I'm doing, if it pleases you what I'm doing, I need this, God. I need this. I need models. I need such and such. I need the venue. I need this. I mean, communicate with God every all the way through it. God, I need you for this. Where you at, God? You know, and I'm just having this conversation with God at all times, praying at all times in the spirit, starting my day off by praying. And then I get up and I get to work. I make whatever phone calls, sending out emails and things like that. And guess what? The right people will respond. The people that God prompts to respond, or however that needs to go, then that's what I have to wait on. Because I'm definitely not, I ain't the type of person, I don't like imposing on nobody. I ain't about to be begging nobody, and I ain't about to be beating nobody down about taking part in nothing I got going on. If I'm on assignment, the right people will respond and they will be there. And that's how I feel about it. Because it's going to work out in the way that God intends for it to go. So, but I just still got to do the certain things on my human effort. So yes, y'all, I'm excited though about this Runway Ministry and Fellowship experience, and the way faith looks with that is that, hey, God, I don't have all the resources, but God, I'm looking to you, Father, that you will continue to guide my steps, that you will lead me to the right people, and it's going to all come together. And you just got to keep on going. And even if things still don't work out exactly how you intend, it's the way that God decided for that outcome to be. But you still keep on pushing no matter what. Keep on showing God that you're here to serve him no matter what. And that's what I encourage you. What are you going to do when you don't have your prayers answered, or when certain things don't go how you intend or want for it to go? Then your loyalty should still be to God, still to serve God, still to do things with dignity and integrity. Lean into God, having that joy. And so I continue to pray, Lord, the Lord to help my heart, that I rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and constant in prayer. So I have to rejoice while I'm waiting. Because even though I don't know the outcome of these things, of these provisions that God has given me, I don't know what it's going to look like. I can see with my heart, you know, the end result, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know. Only God is going to get me there. Only God has to help me with that destination if I lean into God and do my best to stay in the will of God while I'm doing it. And then therefore, whatever the outcomes that happen of these certain things that you're going through in life, as long as if you're staying in the will of God, submitting to God, committing to God, whatever you do, whatever happens are the outcomes that God intended for it to happen. So then therefore you still just yield to God. You still rejoice. You still give God the glory, because it's going to happen how God intends for it to happen. So therefore, you don't need to compare yourself to others. You don't need to hate your life. You don't need to be jealous or envious of nobody else's path. Because if you're just doing things in a way that pleases God, you're submitting to God, you're inside the will of God, you're doing things that your faith is prompting you to do, stepping out in faith by putting in the actions that make your faith complete, that shows God that you're serious about your journey and about serving him and serving others for God's glory. When you show you, so that's when you do those actions that make your faith complete, that is you saying, all right, God, I'm letting you know that I'm not playing around with your will for my life. I ain't playing no games. I am serious about my journey, and I'm serious about my purpose. And I want to show you, God, that I'm taking it serious with the life and the time that you've given me. So help me to thrive. Help me in thriving, meaning when you're thriving, that means you are successful with using the resources and the things that you do have where you're at right now in your life. And as you elevate, God will continue to provide those resources. You utilize those the best that you know how, and succeed with that. So taking what you have and making the most of it with what you have right now. So even though I'm not where I want to be at in life yet, I'm not as happy with my circumstances, but I have joy, I have God, and I'm going to continue keeping on, and fighting that good fight of the true faith and thriving by using the resources that I have and making it work with that, and not despising those small beginnings. That's another way that you can take that action and showing God that you're serious about your purpose and his will for your life. Sometimes it's hard because when you see other people that look successful and look like they did it in a certain way, so you feel like you got to copy that. But no, don't despise those small beginnings. So if you're, whatever it is that you got going on in your career or in your personal life, if you're not where you want to be right now, just again, don't despise those small beginnings. Be content with what you have and rejoice while you're waiting. Yes, it's okay to still want better and want more, to do better, to be better, to have better. Absolutely. But while you're waiting on that to happen, still rejoice, still give God thanks, still glorify God. All right. And then, like I said, for me, what that looks like for me, just rejoicing while I wait, still continue to step out in faith, doing the things that I can in my own human effort, but leaning into God this time. Leaning into God, seeking God, communicating with God all the way through, and not despising my small beginnings. So right now with this Runway Ministry and Fellowship Experience, I'm excited about the venue. It's so different. It's so unique. Listen, because I'm a child of God and I am different and I'm unique. And so this speaks to who God created me to be. So I'm excited about the venue. I'm excited about what the event entails. It entails fellowship, word and worship, culminating in a top tier fashion show. It's going to be performers, vendors, food trucks. It's just going to be just a good community fellowship, family event where, again, it is just all about entertainment that pleases God. We all want to be entertained. We all want to have a good time. I absolutely sometimes I just want to go out and have a good time. But now, because I'm my new self, I want to have a good time in a way that pleases God, in a way that I don't have to walk away feeling no type of way, shame or regret for the way I was partying or having fun. I want to be able to be smiling inside, having a good time, being entertained, and knowing that it still was pleasing to God. And that's what the Runway Ministry and Fellowship Experience is about, presented by Godly Models TV, which is a premier platform for good, clean entertainment that pleases God. Check out my website, www.godlymodelstv.com, and you can just see all of the things that we have to offer and to share and with our platform. So yes, I just wanted to share this word. And, I hope it can inspire somebody or encourage somebody. And if it encourages even just one, I am happy. And I just thank God that I was prompted today to give this word. I definitely feel better. Like I said earlier, I had a bit of dis-ease going on in my day. And I said, rather than me spiraling with those thoughts, I'm going to flip it and take that time to practice, to glorify God, give God the thanks, even in those situations where it says, be thankful at all times and in all circumstances. Be thankful. Not for the circumstances, but in the circumstances to still be thankful. So I wanted to use today to intentionally practice that and say, God, I thank you. God, I thank you. Even if, and in spite of, Father. Yes, so don't despise those small beginnings. Pray at all times and in the spirit. Take those actions that make your faith complete to show God that, okay, God, the prompting and what you're feeding me, I'm serious about your will for my life. So I'm going to step out and do the things that I can do in my own human effort, and everything else outside of what I'm able to do, God, it's on you. And I give you the glory, and my hope is in you, God. Also pray saying, God, protect me even from myself. right? Because again, we make those decisions from day to day that we don't know where those decisions are going to lead us. And they could just be routine thoughts and decisions in your day, and you don't know how it's going to end up turning out. So God, protect me even from myself. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me. You can check out all of my other replays of my pop-up Bible studies. Just look through my timeline. You can also follow my YouTube channel, which is Live with Ebony, and also Godly Models TV. But you can go to both of those YouTube channels and check out some of my past pop-up Bible studies, and also my Bible studies with my girls. So therefore, if you have kids, or you you have a family, and sometimes you want to study the word with your kids or with your family, but you don't know how to introduce it or have those words sometimes with your daughters or your sons or whatever, and you don't know how to get them into it, then check out my Bible studies with my girls, and maybe that can kind of help and ease you into it and having those conversations about the word and the word of God with your kids, because they absolutely need it. They need it from you and not the world. But yes, so thank y'all so much. Lord willing, I will be doing this again. But yes, y'all, Lord willing, and everything is Lord willing, because hey, everything, each day and every breath is a gift from God. And Lord willing, I'm excited about July the 30th. It shall be so. If it is the Lord's will, the Runway Ministry and Fellowship Experience is happening at the Southern Museum of Flight. 3 p.m. it is going down. So y'all check it out. Follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, and also, like I said, you can go to www.godlymodelstv.com to find out more information about the event. Hopefully I can see y'all there. All right, and yeah, because I'm also going to be going live. So just in case, if you can't make it there in person, then also that's why my events is also virtual, where you can still share in the goodness of God right from the comfort of your own home. But I hope to see you there physically at this event, because I'm excited about it. This is my second one. The first one went great. The second one is going to be great because it's for God's glory, but it's going to go exactly how God intends. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. All right, y'all, have a good one. Check you next time.